Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Schlage number 80-101 by B520-296 by 626. This is a mortise cylinder housing, less the small format interchangeable core for Yale. So what we have here is an 80-101, and an 80-101 is going to include the compression ring and spring. We call this a wave washer as well. If you've ever heard the term wave washer, this is what they're referring to. And that is handy because it will sit underneath the head of the cylinder, and as you tighten it, you'll compress that wave spring just a little bit and get that snugged up tight there. It also includes a blocking ring. So the 80-101, 80-101, inherently, that part number includes all of that material like you see there. The reason is because this is a small format interchangeable core cylinder, and that inherently forces them to be longer. This should be 1 3/8 length. Let's take a look. Cylinders are measured, mortise cylinders are measured from the underside of the head to the back of the cam. This has a Yale cam on it, and that's the B520-296. That cam clearly sits a little bit further back, and that could have something to do with the, perhaps the manufacturing of their lock case. I'm not exactly sure why it has that unusual standoff on the back side of that unit. Let's investigate that a little bit closer. To be sure that it was constructed or at least assembled properly, that hole in the back side, I've removed the driver, and there are 2 steps that are on the back of that cam, and only that first step will fit into the hole, so it does certainly stand off from the back of the unit, and that appears to be how it was designed. It is obviously something to do with it must have something to do with the way that the Yale lock, or when using someone else's parts, are required to be made just a little bit different to be compatible. So, inherently, if you're installing a Yale cam, it's obviously going to be understood that you are installing it onto a Yale lock, right? So let's get that put back together there. Okay. It'd be handy if the core was already in place because it would hold the driver. Anyway, let's put back together. Okay, very simple to swap those cams out. Now, why are we supplying a Schlage cylinder with a Yale cam? Well, we could have possibly have just simply, the bottom line is this: the client has a 3080 fire-rated oak door in a condo building. The door was damaged. There was a kitchen fire. The fire department came in and naturally didn't leave much of the door left intact as the tenant wasn't home. The door was destroyed. The lock was destroyed. There was apparently prior discussion about changing the design of the locks, and while they had all Schlage locks in place, they really loved the design of the Yale lock that they selected. So a Yale lock was supplied with the new fire-rated wood door. The client's existing Everest B family small format restricted cores were going to be used, and rather than me investigate if an Everest small format B family is going to work into a Yale cylinder, which it would, I just didn't investigate if there was a housing from Yale for their Yale lock. The low-hanging fruit was the fact that I had the Schlage part numbers memorized, so I supplied a Schlage housing with a Yale cam. It would have been the long way around, no doubt, but that's exactly why this lock is supplied, or this cylinder housing is supplied. Okay, 626 finish. That's the satin chrome face. Obviously, you're going to be able to obtain these in any sort of finish that you need, and it's going to work on almost all Yale mortise locks. The function the client's doing here is just a typical entrance, and Yale has that long, skinny cam type that you see there. There's also a link, there are images down below this video that will show you photographs of the item. Installation instructions are also included with the item and shown down below. You know, a control key is required to extract that B family Everest from Schlage and then to insert the core. I may just send a temporary small format core with this in case the client gets to the job and doesn't have the control key for the existing cylinder. So here they are hanging the new door, new lock installed, cylinder housing, but can't get that old core put in there. And then the problem will be that the cylinder housing they have will have the wrong tailpiece. So they might be able to reuse all of it and just swap out the tailpiece, or the cam I should say, to make that work. And frankly, had the client, you know, had the ability to answer some of those questions more completely, we probably would have been able to save them some money by saying, well, just reuse the housing that you have and I'll get you an inexpensive cam. But this needed to be a delivered package complete, here it is, put it in kind of scenario, and that's what was done. So there's a link below this video as well to the product catalog that will show the 8101 in those instances where it shows up in the catalog. And then the B520 296, there's also a third page there that shows that Yale cam along with its other sister products, other cams for other locks, and how they cams for Schlage small format interchangeable core cylinders, compatible for different lock bodies is what I'm driving at, is what I'm trying to say. And that page is there as well, and you'll see the B520 296 there and other cams, like I've said. Any questions? There is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Schlage products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Any questions on the Schlage 80-101 with a B520 296 cam for Yale, or any other Schlage product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.